to start with your dental journey. This is kind of the interesting thing that as we've been working through this podcast, what we've noticed is, especially for non-dentists, for people who end up in the dental industry, it usually wasn't on purpose, right? It wasn't something that they set out to do or set as a goal. So I would love to hear how you got into the dental industry and some of the industries that you climbed through to end up here.
Yeah. Thanks again for having me on. And you're right. Most of us, unless, we, are destined for dental school or, have a family member, we just kind of come in here accidentally. And I'm no different. So my financial management degree from Clemson, and came from a family of accountants, and interned for an accounting firm one summer and realized that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. So I already had the financial management degree, didn't want to go back to school. So when all else fails, you get into sales. And so ended up working for a fertilizer and flower bulb company. Don't ask me how that happened. It just was, just got into it because it was one of the few opportunities when I graduated college, and managed an 18-state territory. Then worked for a division of Ford, Hertz Rent-A-Car, in their corporate sales division. So handled large accounts for them for quite a while. Got some really honed my professional selling skills. So B2B, I wouldn't say it was a glamorous job, but I really, kind of honed the skills that I didn't learn when I was selling flower bulbs and fertilizer. And then moved from the Hertz job. In looking back then, it was early 2000s. All things were pointing to pharmaceutical sales. So tried to get into the pharmaceutical business. After 8 or 9 interviews at each pharmaceutical company, could never get the job. I could get to that last interview and somebody always beat me out. And somehow found myself with an interview with a medical/dental job, and I kind of looked at that and said, okay, medical sounds good. Didn't really know anything about dental. And so that's really kind of how I got into the dental industry, initially looking for a pharmaceutical job that turned into dental. And the company that I interviewed with, Coltine, big restorative company, do some endodontic products as well. They said, once you get into the dental industry, you'll never leave. And I was kind of like, well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And so that's kind of how I ended up here.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what I've been told too. And I've seen it true. I have a bunch of people, myself and several people on our team, that we're kind of here and we're stuck, but we love it. And I know you love it too. So the dental manufacturer company that you started working for, how did that transition into group dentistry now? Yeah,
that's a great question. Well, so I've always had an entrepreneurial bug. And while I was at Coltine in around 2008, I saw a need to create a platform that connected dental manufacturers with distribution reps. So the Henry Scheins, Pattersons, Benkos, and the NDC dealers of the world. And there was always kind of this disconnect between the manufacturers and the distributors. So at the time, if you think way back, which isn't that long ago, Facebook was really just for college kids still. LinkedIn didn't have groups. Facebook didn't have groups either. So there was a platform called, I'm even blanking out on the name now. But there's a cookie cutter platform that you could buy for about $60 a month. And you could kind of brand it however you wanted to. So I called it dentalsalespro.com and had a bunch of email addresses from working a bunch of trade shows. So just started to invite people to it. It got a little wind behind it. And all of a sudden we had in about a year, we had about 1,000 people that were members of this Dental Sales Pro group. And we shared pictures and we had conversations. And a medical publisher found out about it. And they had one dental magazine called First Impressions. It doesn't exist now. And they thought, boy, this guy really knows what he's doing, which I didn't. But I also had the digital platform, which they didn't. It was a print publication. So they asked me to come in and run their dental publishing business. And so that's how I got into publishing anyway.
Yeah, that's great. And then, so you guys that's cool. I didn't know that. So you basically built your own social media little group there before social media was big. And then I know that's been a big part of your guys' success now and how you kind of get the word out.